Imagine waking up before sunrise in a world without farms, without bread, without cities, and without certainty. Hunger is not an occasional problem. It is a constant presence. Every day begins with the same silent question: what will we eat today? In that world, survival depends not on comfort or taste, but on efficiency. Long before bread, long before agriculture, long before written history, humans discovered a simple idea that would quietly sustain them for thousands of years. That idea was porridge. Porridge does not sound heroic. It does not feel revolutionary. It is soft, plain, and almost invisible in modern food culture. Yet porridge may be one of the most important foods in human history, not because it was luxurious or exciting, but because it worked. It kept people alive when nothing else could. Modern humans have existed for roughly 300,000 years. Agriculture began only around 12,000 years ago. That means for most of our existence, humans lived as hunter-gatherers, constantly moving, constantly adapting. In that unstable world, food needed to be flexible, reliable, and efficient. Porridge was all three. At its core, porridge is simple. It is crushed plant material mixed with water and heated. That is all. No oven, no yeast, no precise measurements, no permanent settlement required. This simplicity made porridge powerful. It allowed humans to turn small, scattered food resources into filling, shareable meals. Archaeological evidence shows that humans were collecting wild grains, seeds, and starchy plants tens of thousands of years before farming. Stone grinding tools found at ancient sites carry microscopic starch residues, proving that plants were crushed and processed regularly. These were not accidents. They were deliberate food strategies developed through observation and experience. Raw grains are hard to chew and difficult to digest. Raw roots can be toxic or tough. Cooking changes that. When early humans combined crushed plants with water and heat, they created something entirely new. The starch is gelatinized. Nutrients became easier to absorb, and digestion required less effort. Porridge delivered more energy with less strain on the body. In a survival world, that advantage mattered deeply. Fire made porridge possible. Long before pottery existed, humans used heated stones dropped into water-filled pits, animal skins, or natural containers to cook food. This technique allowed liquid meals to exist without bowls or pots. It was clever, adaptable, and efficient. Porridge was not just food. It was applied intelligence. Unlike meat, which depended on dangerous and uncertain hunts, porridge could be made almost any time. Seeds, roots, and grains were often available even when animals migrated or disappeared. This reliability reduced risk. In survival terms, porridge was insurance against hunger. Porridge also changed how food was shared. A single pot could feed many people. Children, elders, and injured individuals could eat it easily. Hard foods excluded the weak. Porridge included everyone. This had powerful social consequences. It strengthened group survival and cooperation. In many ways, porridge may have been humanity's first truly communal food. Shared meals create bonds. Sitting around a fire, eating from the same source, reinforced trust and coordination. These repeated moments slowly shaped social behavior long before villages or cities existed. As humans migrated across continents, porridge traveled with them. Different regions used different plants. In Africa, sorghum and millet. In Europe, wild barley and oats. In Asia, early forms of rice. The method stayed the same. Only the ingredients changed. This adaptability made porridge universal. Porridge did something that very few foods in history managed to do. It reduced uncertainty. In a prehistoric world, uncertainty was the real enemy. Hunger did not arrive suddenly. It crept in slowly. One failed hunt, one harsh winter, one dry season could wipe out entire groups. Porridge softened that risk. It allowed humans to turn even small, scattered resources into predictable meals. A handful of seeds or roots could become something warm and filling. This reliability quietly changed human behavior. When food becomes more predictable, fear decreases. When fear decreases, people plan. They stay longer in one place. They invest time in tools, shelters, and relationships. Porridge did not create civilization overnight, but it created breathing room. It bought time. And time is the most powerful resource any species can have. There is also a human side to the story that archaeology rarely captures. Imagine a sick child who cannot chew tough meat. Imagine an elder whose teeth are worn down by years of survival. Hard foods would exclude them. Porridge did not. It was soft, gentle, and nourishing. It allowed the weakest members of a group to survive. That matters because survival is not just about the strongest individual. It is about the group lasting together. This is where porridge becomes more than food. It becomes a symbol of care. A shared pot meant shared responsibility. Someone gathered the plants. Someone tended the fire. Someone stirred the mixture. Survival became collective. These small acts of cooperation slowly shaped human social structure. Even when farming arrived and bread became possible, porridge did not disappear. It stayed because it still solved problems bread could not. During famine, war, or crop failure, porridge returned as the last reliable option. History repeated the same lesson again and again. When systems collapse, simple foods endure. As societies became more complex, porridge adapted again. It became breakfast food, ritual food, and comfort food. It fed soldiers, peasants, monks, and children. Empires rose and fell, but porridge remained. It was cheap, nourishing, and dependable. Importantly, porridge supported human biology. Cooked starch provided steady energy, supporting endurance and brain development. Scientists now know that humans evolved with cooked carbohydrates as a regular part of their diet. Porridge fits that evolutionary pattern perfectly. This challenges modern myths about ancient diets. Early humans were not carb-free hunters living only on meat. They were strategic omnivores. They ate what worked. Porridge worked exceptionally well. At this point, if you enjoy deep, evidence-based stories about how ordinary foods shaped human survival, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. These stories are not about trends or fads. They are about the real foundations of humanity. Before bread, before ovens, before written recipes, porridge filled stomachs and bought time. Time to grow, to learn, to cooperate, and to evolve. Without porridge-like foods, survival would have been harder, riskier, and less inclusive. As we reach the end of this story, remember this clearly. Porridge was not poor food. It was smart food. It represented adaptability, efficiency, and care for the group. It quietly carried humanity through uncertainty when nothing else could. So the next time you see a simple bowl of porridge, do not dismiss it. You are looking at one of humanity's oldest survival technologies, a food that fed children, protected elders, and kept communities alive long before civilization had a name. If you want to continue exploring the hidden history of everyday foods, stay with this channel. Subscribe, because in the next story we uncover how a single ingredient shaped trade routes, powered empires, and made long-distance survival possible. Before luxury, before comfort, and before abundance, there was survival. And porridge was one of the foods that made survival possible.